Imagine walking through the sands of time, wherein each grain reveals a story aged over millennia, an era of kings and prophets outlined in the world's most debated book, the Bible.
Envisage finding a shard of pottery, a coin, or a column's base that provides tangible links to ancient narratives once thought to be purely spiritual or allegorical.
Archaeology, specifically dealing with the biblical landscapes, isn't just about unearthing artifacts. It reflects a deeper quest to weave the tapestry of human civilization through the threads of faith, history, and empirical evidence.
Such is the mission of biblical archaeology, to forge a profound understanding of the Bible through the tools of scientific inquiry and historical scrutiny.
Archaeological exploration serves as a bridge between the past and the present, connecting textual traditions with physical evidences. It shifts biblical study from abstract theological debates into the tangible realm of history and culture. Studying artifacts, settlements, and battle sites enables historians to place biblical stories within their true historical settings. This, in turn, enriches the understanding of the Bible as a reflection of human history. Sources from archaeology also challenge and refine our understanding of the Bible, exemplified by discrepancies in dates and events noted in the scriptures compared to archaeological timelines. This provides an invaluable perspective that stimulates deeper questioning and analysis.
The story of the Exodus, a foundational narrative of Jewish and Christian traditions, has often been scrutinized for its historical accuracy.
Recent archaeological endeavors aim to piece together evidences that could verify or challenge the traditional accounts of this mass migration.
While no conclusive archaeological evidence has been found to corroborate the biblical narrative of the Exodus as described, some scholars argue for a more symbolic interpretation.
Others point to Egyptian records and certain inconclusive artifacts that hint at a possible historical kernel wrapped in layers of theological and cultural embellishments.
The debate continues, showing the challenge of reconciling historical records and biblical narratives, which often serve theological rather than historical purposes.
The reigns of King David and Solomon, celebrated in biblical texts as the Golden Age of ancient Israel, present a fertile ground for archaeological inquiry.
The quest to unearth their historical realities has led to fervent debates among scholars.
Recent excavations in the city of David and at sites like Khirbet Qeiyafa have provided evidence suggesting a centralized authority and urbanization that could correspond to the biblical descriptions of a unified monarchy under David and Solomon.
However, the scale and splendor described in the Bible often exceed the archaeological findings, leading some to argue that these figures may have been aggrandized by later biblical authors.
Critically, these findings encourage a re-evaluation of how ancient narratives were used to construct national identity and historical memory, a common practice in the ancient Near East.
Prophets in the Bible are often seen as spiritual leaders, but their roles were deeply political. Archaeological findings have illuminated the contexts in which these figures operated, showing the interplay of prophecy, politics, and social justice.
For instance, the discovery of the Mesha Stele provides insights into the Moabite perspective on Israelite kings and prophets, offering a rare non-Israelite viewpoint on events also described in the Bible. Such discoveries highlight the prophets' roles not merely as religious figures, but as pivotal participants in the political dramas of their times.
Understanding the prophets within their specific socio-political and economic contexts allows for a more nuanced view of their actions and teachings, revealing the complexities of their challenges and contributions.
The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the mid-20th century revolutionized the understanding of Jewish thought and scripture during the Second Temple period. These ancient texts offer crucial insights into the diversity of religious beliefs and practices preceding and during the early Christian era.
The scrolls include texts that were later canonized in the Hebrew Bible, along with other writings that were not included in the final biblical corpus. This assortment challenges the notion of a monolithic religious practice and highlights the dynamic and contested nature of scripture formation.
Moreover, the scrolls provide evidence of messianic expectations and apocalyptic thoughts prevalent among certain Jewish groups, offering a backdrop to the emergence of Christianity and its scriptures.
One of the most contentious issues in biblical archaeology is the historicity of the Israelite conquest of Canaan. The biblical account describes a swift and divine-led victory over Canaan, but the archaeological evidence does not fully support such a narrative.
Instead, evidence from sites like Jericho and Ai suggests a gradual process of settlement rather than a sudden military conquest. This has led some scholars to propose that the emergence of Israel was more likely an internal Canaanite phenomenon rather than a foreign invasion.
This reinterpretation poses significant questions about the nature of early Israelite identity and the role of these narratives in shaping collective memory and self-perception among the Israelites.
The period of the Judges, as described in the Bible, portrays a time of decentralized tribal leadership and frequent conflicts with surrounding peoples. Archaeology offers a partial window into this era, providing evidence that can both corroborate and challenge the biblical accounts.
Findings from various sites suggest a society organized in small, often fortified settlements, which aligns with the biblical depiction of a fragmented and tumultuous period. However, the lack of monumental inscriptions or extensive written records from this time complicates efforts to identify specific events or figures mentioned in the biblical text. The archaeological record thus presents a mixed picture that supports a period of social complexity and regional diversity, possibly reflecting the historical kernel behind the biblical narratives of the Judges.
The figure of Jesus of Nazareth stands as one of the most pivotal in both religious and historical discourses. Archaeological investigations in and around Galilee and Jerusalem have sought to illuminate the socio-political and economic backdrop of Jesus' life and ministry.
Artifacts and architectural remnants from this period, such as the remains of homes, synagogues, and ritual baths, provide context to the gospel narratives, offering insights into the daily lives and spiritual practices of the people Jesus would have interacted with. However, direct archaeological evidence relating to Jesus himself remains elusive, leading to ongoing debates about the historical versus theological constructions of his life story. This gap in the archaeological record invites a broader contemplation of the ways religious figures are historicized and the interplay between faith and historical inquiry.
The ancient Assyrians were meticulous record keepers, and their annals offer critical corroborations and contrasts to biblical histories, particularly regarding the kingdoms of Israel and Judah.
Assyrian records, such as those describing the conquest of Samaria in 722 BCE, provide an external viewpoint on events narrated in the Bible. These records not only affirm the existence of certain biblical figures and events, but also offer additional details that are absent in the biblical texts. This cross-cultural comparison enriches our understanding of the biblical narratives, placing them within a broader geopolitical context, and allowing a more nuanced understanding of the ancient Near East's historical dynamics.
The Babylonian exile is a pivotal event in Jewish history, profoundly influencing biblical theology and the development of Jewish identity.
Archaeological and textual evidence from Babylon provides insights into the lives of the exiled Judean community.
Excavations in Babylon have unearthed tablets that mention figures possibly identifiable with persons mentioned in the Bible, lending credence to the historical basis of the exile.
These findings paint a picture of a vibrant community maintaining its identity far from home, contributing to our understanding of the period's social and cultural conditions.
The integration of these artifacts with biblical and extra-biblical texts challenges and deepens our understanding of this transformative period in Jewish history.
The biblical book of Nehemiah provides a detailed account of the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls in the 5th century BCE.
Archaeology has played a crucial role in verifying and contextualizing this event.
Recent archaeological efforts have identified remains of wall structures dating to the period described in Nehemiah, supporting the historical accuracy of this account.
These discoveries not only corroborate the biblical narrative, but also reflect the broader Persian imperial policy of restoring local economies and religious practices.
By examining these remnants, scholars can better understand the administrative and physical landscape of post-exilic Jerusalem, offering insights into the challenges and achievements of this period.
The Bible emerges not in isolation but as part of the rich tapestry of ancient Near Eastern literature.
Comparative studies of biblical texts with Egyptian, Mesopotamian, and Hittite sources reveal shared motifs and differing perspectives that illuminate the biblical narratives.
For instance, the Epic of Gilgamesh and the story of Noah's flood share unmistakable parallels, suggesting a shared cultural heritage and exchange of ideas across ancient civilizations.
Such comparisons not only help in understanding the Bible's unique contributions, but also in placing its stories within a larger cultural and literary context.
This comparative approach allows for a more holistic view of the Bible, recognizing it as a product of its time influenced by various cultural currents.
The Hellenistic period marked a significant transformation in the Near East, influencing the social, cultural, and religious landscape of Judea.
Archaeological findings, including inscriptions, coins, and architecture, testify to the pervasive influence of Greek culture.
These artifacts illustrate how Hellenism mingled with local traditions, affecting everything from architectural styles to religious practices.
The tumultuous interaction between Hellenistic and Jewish ideals is also reflected in the Maccabean Revolt, an event well documented both in the Bible and in historical records.
Understanding this period of cultural syncretism is crucial for appreciating the complex identity negotiations within the biblical texts and the development of early Jewish and Christian thought.
Recent archaeological discoveries continue to reshape the understanding of biblical texts.
For instance, new findings at sites like Tel Motza offer insights into cultic practices in ancient Judah, which may reflect pluralistic religious traditions mentioned in the Bible.
These discoveries prompt a re-evaluation of how religious practices are portrayed in the Bible, suggesting a more diverse religious landscape than previously understood.
This challenges traditional interpretations and encourages a more nuanced understanding of the biblical world.
The evolving nature of archaeological research ensures that interpretations of biblical stories are continually refined, fostering an ongoing dialogue between past beliefs and contemporary understanding.
As we stand on the precipice of new archaeological methodologies and technologies, the future of biblical archaeology holds immense potential for further discoveries and insights.
The integration of digital imaging, remote sensing, and other advanced techniques promises to unveil deeper layers of the ancient past.
These tools will help refine our understanding of the biblical narratives and their historical contexts, continuing to challenge and enrich our understanding of this ancient text.
As each layer of sand and soil is carefully removed, the stories of the Bible will continue to emerge, not just as sacred texts, but as a profound narrative of human history.
Biblical archaeology, therefore, remains a vital field that bridges the divine and the historical, inviting believers, skeptics, and scholars to reconsider the foundations of one of humanity's most enduring texts.